Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 was very heavily anticipated, given how popular the first season of the show was and how successful it did. Well, those two things basically mean the same thing. But that's by the by. However, since Season 2 has started, I've heard a lot of complaints about how it's slow and boring, and from myself, how it seems like the visual quality has gone substantially down from the first season. And in that respect, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, given how, like I said, the first season was successful and there's been quite a big delay between seasons. It's been nearly 3 years. You'd think the budget for the show would have gone up, and as such they'd have had the ability to improve the visual quality. To which there is somewhat of an explanation, or an excuse if you will, that by having a lower animation quality at the start of the season, there is perhaps something that requires a lot more time and effort put into it, and as such more of the budget is focused toward it, that will happen later in the season. As of recording this video, we are only 3 episodes in to the second season, so that's very much a possibility that things will change as we get further into the season. However, as for the story and it being boring or slow, well, no shit, it's going to be a bit slow. They've just had to introduce an entirely new thing, as well as the characters that go with it. And in all honesty, I'd argue it hasn't been slow. They've already gotten to the point where they've beheaded the turtle. Spoilers, by the way, I should have said that in advance. But obviously they haven't killed it, but a lot of plot has actually happened in that short amount of time. And as for it being boring, well obviously that is down to personal preference. While I don't think the story has been as good as the first season, at least not so far, again we are only 3 episodes in, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, at least in my opinion. I just don't think it's as good given what people probably expect from the series, given everything Season 1 was about, with Naofumi fighting against all odds of the nation being against him, and then with the second, I guess you could say, well not really half, but second like major point of the island where they get to encounter the vassal holders, well more of them at least. Again, I also heard less positive opinions of that compared to the first like major piece of Shield Hero, given that I think what most people watch Shield Hero for is, you know, Naofumi being betrayed and then coming up from that, and then when he gets past that, they've gotten their satisfaction from the series, and it's not really going to peak again from there. So there's most certainly that involved in why people are dissatisfied with the season as it is so far, because it's, well, fundamentally different to, you know, why they started the series and why they watched it initially to begin with. So there's that. Obviously, for the visuals and pacing, if you do think the pacing's off, like fuck do I know the real reasons behind that, because obviously I don't work at the studio, I'm not the producer, I'm not the director, I don't know anything about that. I can just take a shot in the dark and give you the small bit of insight that I did, for example with budget needing to be directed toward the end, and the fact that I actually don't think the pacing's all that slow. But hey, maybe that's just me. We'll have to wait and see how things play out, and hopefully I'm not wrong in it needing budget later in the season. And that's why things are a bit jank with CG and melting faces in the first few episodes. But hey, that's just a thought. What do you think about Shield Hero so far? What are your thoughts on it? You know, do you have any insight as to why things might be the way they are? And if so, leave them in the comments. And while you're there, like, sub, hit the notification bell. You know, the usual YouTube thing. With all that said, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I hope to get you on next time in the video. Ta-ta, for now.